What's up, guys? Welcome to 242 Students Online. My name's Jacob, and I'm so glad that you could make it today. So we have an amazing service in store for you, but first we have a game. So we're gonna do a little bit of a versus battle. I'm gonna pick two items, or it's gonna be one topic really, and you're going to type in the chat and say which is better and why. Also, we have staff members that are gonna be weighing in with their decisions to hopefully help you decide. So the first one is Marvel versus DC, and Chewy is going to be here to weigh in on the decision.
DC versus Marvel. Well, Batman is pretty cool. I'm gonna have to go with Marvel just because Spider-Man, he's like the coolest friendly neighborhood Spider-Man ever, and he can sling webs and fly in the air on those webs. And not to mention Iron Man, like I don't remember crying when Superman died. But when it's still a sensitive topic, but Marvel is my vote all the way.
Ooh, Chewy went with Marvel because of Spider-Man, which is honestly not a bad choice. Let us know why you picked your decision and why. So next up, we have Chipotle versus Qdoba. So be typing in the chat and telling us which one you pick and why. And here is Josh to tell you what his pick is.
It's one of the questions that the world has been trying to answer for years now. Which one's better, Chipotle or Qdoba? Let's be honest and stop kidding ourselves. It's Chipotle, and if you think otherwise, you're wrong. All you have to do to have a good life is follow Jesus and eat Chipotle, because it's better than Qdoba.
Honestly, guys, this one isn't really even a debate. It's Chipotle all day. Josh is right, and even though I've never had Qdoba, like, why would you even betray like Chipotle like that? Like, you can't even try it. Anyways, let's go on to the next one, which our next one is dogs versus cats, and we have Emily from Brighton to tell you which is her favorite.
Here's the deal, guys. Dogs versus cats. It's not even really an argument. I mean, hear me out. Okay, cats are kind of just super passive-aggressive creatures that feed off of you, but don't actually care about you. Dogs, on the other hand, yeah, they're a little more work, but let's be real. They actually care about you. I mean, we've all seen those sad stories when, like, the dog's owner passes away, and they just sit at their grave because they love him so much. You know what a cat would be doing? Not that. A cat would not be doing that. Cat wouldn't care. Cat would be like, all right, who's gonna feed me next? I'm gonna go there. So I'm just saying, do you want a passive-aggressive old man in your house? Or do you want a sweet, loving pup who actually cares about you? Dogs are better.
Emily decided to go with dogs there, which is honestly, that was probably my choice too. Some people, it's either way. Some people live by dogs, or some people live by cats, and it's either way. Be typing in the chat, letting us know what your favorite is and why. So last up, we have ice cream versus frozen yogurt. Make sure you're typing it in and letting us know which is your favorite. And we have Kylie from Ann Arbor letting us know what her favorite is.
This is Kylie. I'm a small group leader for the 12th grade girls. And for sure, well, it's actually harder than for sure, but my favorite is frozen yogurt because you can put all the little toppings onto the frozen yogurt. My favorite is those little balls that are filled with juice. They burst. They're so yummy. So that's my thought. Bye.
Ice cream or frozen yogurt? Honestly, they're both great. Probably go with frozen yogurt because of the toppings. I think it's just a little bit better, but honestly, it's hard to go wrong. We're about to continue with our service, and we're gonna jump right into the message, so sit back and relax, and we're gonna hop right into it.
Hey 242 students, thanks for hanging out with us today. Man, I got a question for you. Do you have any people that you just feel like are against you? All right, I don't want you throwing their names in the chat. We're not gossiping here. Just like if you think of people that are against you, what does that mean? What memories does that bring up? I'll never forget when I was in middle school, there was a guy named Tim. Tim was like that guy that like, when I was still like 4 foot, he was like shaving a full beard, all right? You guys have probably a Tim at your school. And I felt like Tim was against me. In fact, one time, Tim rallied up a bunch of people for a circle, and they all started yelling, fight, 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 and like 6-foot bearded Tim and little 4-foot Joel was in the middle, and I'm like, I'm not trying to fight, and he said I looked at him wrong, and thankfully I was just loud enough for a teacher to come and kind of save the day. But maybe you've had someone against you before. I want you to also ask you the opposite though. Have you ever had somebody that's for you? You feel like, man, when they're around, like they want you to succeed. Maybe this is a parent, maybe this is a grandparent, maybe it's a friend or a relative, someone that you just believe that they are for you succeeding. Well, today's main idea is that God is for you. Now, I want to be clear because this is so big. Not just that God loves you, not just that God is a person in the sky, not just that God is someone to pray to when times are hard or to go to in difficult situations, that God is for you. Let me show you how I believe this. One, if I take you all the way to the book of Romans, there's an author named Paul writing this, and here's what he writes in Romans 5:8-10. He says, but God demonstrates his own love for us, in this, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. There's a couple things I see here. First is while we were still sinners. So this means that the way God works isn't that we have to go get right and then we can go to him. It means that he's for us even in our sin. Now, this is not an excuse to just keep on sinning, but for some of you, this is great news because over these last months of quarantine, you feel like your temptations, your struggles, maybe even the stuff you do in private, the stuff you look at have gotten worse. And you feel like you can't even look at God. Like you can't even think about God because you're so far from him, when the truth is, while we were still sinners, God is for you. God is for you even while you are still sinners. The second thing we see is that he didn't just say he was for us, he showed that he was for us. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. This is something that changed my life, to realize that Christ's death on the cross changed everything prior to him and everything after him. That death that happened thousands of years ago was because Christ was for us, and he was for you. I've heard it said this way before. Christ loves you so much that he loves you in the middle of your dark sin, but he loves you too much to keep you there. He loves you so much that he loves you in your sin, but he loves you too much to keep you there. Why? He's one of those people who's for you. In fact, he's the person that's most for you. And so he doesn't want to keep you in your sin. He wants you to draw you close to him. Another scripture says, draw near to God, and he will draw, in the chat, help me out, he'll draw near to who? He'll draw near to you. In fact, following that passage is, and flee from the enemy, flee from the devil, and he will flee from you. This is unbelievably life-changing. We have a God that loves us in our sin, died for us in our sin, but loves us too much to keep us there. It's a God that's for you. So here's the question I want to ask you. During quarantine, what's maybe something, let's use the word sin. Sin means missing the mark. It's actually an archery term when you were aiming for the arrow and you missed the mark. So where is somewhere you've missed the mark? What's sin that has increased during quarantine? I don't know what that is for you. Maybe it's gossip, social bullying. Maybe it's something that you're looking at that you shouldn't be. Maybe it's lying to your parents about certain things, certain objects, certain items you have. It could be so many things that you're dealing with that quarantine has brought about. And what sin does is it keeps you from God. And so once you've answered that first question, man, what sin has increased, I'm going to ask you, how can you increase more of God in your life? How can you draw near to God so he draws near to you, knowing that he is for you even in the middle of your sin? That could be many things. In fact, feel free for this one to fill in the chat. What could help in the middle of your increased sin? What could increase God in the middle of it? I mean, just a few things that I know have helped is worship music. You throw a worship song on and you just sit there and pause, and you don't just listen. Like you pray the words, you mean the words. Maybe it could be something as simple as praying, and not when you pray just to a black hole in the sky, but like actually picturing a God that is for you. A big part is all the way back in Genesis. It says that it's not good for man to be alone. This was someone who was perfect with God. And he was perfect with God, yet it's not good for man to be alone because we also need other people. So for maybe you, it's texting a friend or someone, maybe it's even someone in your small group, or re-engaging with your small group or even your small group leader so that you can get connected in that way. Or maybe it's something completely different. But here's what I need you to know today. God is for you. He's for you. In fact, I want you to do something real quick. You're at home, that's all right. I want you to put your arms out like this, all right? Now, they say your width span of your arms is how tall you are, okay? So, ironically, I'm exactly 6 feet, so that means this is a perfect social distance. If you need me to stand between you and a friend, boom, I got you, all right? I want you to imagine for a second that you're at one of your normal 242 student services and you've got your arms out like this, all right? If you were to spin around, how many people would you run into? Lots. In fact, I've actually done this illustration at a camp before at CIY, and I stood up and people were running into each other, and I remember saying with the question, like, because God is for you, who should you be for? Anyone that you came in contact with. Well, the problem with is if you're at your house with your arms up and you were to spin around, who would you come in contact with? Nobody, right? This time has changed kind of our culture where we're no longer interacting with so many people that it's so easy for us to say, we have a God for us, I want to be for them. And there's not just people within our immediate contact. But I think the truth still remains true. If God is for you, who can you be for? In fact, who do you need to be for? And it's not just someone in your arm's reach, because that with these new standards in place that we aren't seeing as many people, it means going out of our way to be for these people. Now, why would we do this? Why would we go out of our way to be for other middle schoolers, to be for our parents, to be for our siblings, to be for our family? Like, why would we do that? Because we have a God who went out of his way to be for you. While you were still sinners, Christ died for you. And he came down from earth. If he would have came down as a king, it would have been humbling himself, but he came down as a servant. Lived 30 years of perfection. I like to call it God in a bod. Righteousness in sandals. Walked this earth only to die this horrific death on a cross. Why would he do that? Because he's for you. He went out of his way to be for you. And my challenge to you then would turn around, realizing that you have a God that's for you, so that you can, through his love, be for other people, even if it's inconvenient. As we close today, you're going to get a moment to hang out with your small group later, and I want you to discuss this. Even when it's inconvenient, how can you be for people? Because when it was inconvenient for God, he was for you.
I wanna be close to you. I wanna be close to you. And there's nothing in this world that compares to who you are. In the arms of the Father, there is love like no other. He who formed all things offers love to me. Where you go, we will follow. Through the dark, through the narrow, and in all we do, yeah, we are bound to you. I wanna be close to you. I wanna be close to you. And there's nothing in this world that compares to all you are. We are found in your presence, seeking you in your fullness. Give us eyes to see. You are all we need, oh God. I wanna be close to you. I wanna be close to you. And there's nothing in this world that compares to all you are.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us today at 242 Students Online. If you aren't connected in a small group yet or haven't been showing up to our services, but you want to be connected, go ahead and fill out our next steps card in the description below. That will help us get you connected with a small group with people just like you. Anyways, thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next week.